Oscar, would you like to share with us the experience in Nigeria when it comes to the cross listings?
Cross listings.
Yes.
We do have a number of cross listings. We do have cross listings with the London Stock Exchange Group. We have a cross listing with the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. On equities companies, we also have cross listings on ETFs, the New Gold ETF, which is listed in a number of geographies on the continent. And our experience has been that depending on what you do on a post-trade basis, the back end, you can actually get fungibility. Fungibility just means you can buy the security in one exchange and sell it on another seamlessly. What it does is it also drives liquidity in both markets and helps you to achieve more efficient pricing because arbitrage opportunities are quickly removed, and therefore you see tighter pricing of those assets. If we take Seplat, which was a groundbreaking IPO for us in the sense that it was a simultaneous IPO in Lagos and London. Even when Nigeria had its currency crisis in the last 2 years, Seplat continued to trade in a way that and maintain, although the prices showed, the reality in the economy, as reflected in oil prices and the rest, you could see that it wasn't as badly impacted as other stocks in that sector. We could also see that there was liquidity flowing across both markets. Since we've gone back into an expansion cycle, we've even seen that magnified more. So we think that cross listings could be a good thing. It could give investors opportunities to buy assets that they would not otherwise have access to. It gives the corporate that is raising the capital opportunity to diversify its ownership base. It gives them opportunity to raise a lot more because they are now tapping various liquidity pools in terms of capital that they're trying to raise. It's been a good experience for us.
All right. And as we come to the end of this conversation, Jeff, Africa is literally on the cusp of a tech revolution. And how can stock exchanges partner and ensure that there is seamless integration where we can be able to enable more people to trade, enable a platform where we can raise more capital to further the national agenda of the country?
So we are, as you said, at the cusp of a technological revolution, a fourth industrial revolution, and we need to find ways of working with each other. So a lot of Pan-African integration is required, and there's a project that the association under the leadership of Oscar is working on called the African Exchange Linkage Program, which essentially aims to connect markets in Africa to allow for cross-border trading, to open up these markets to the various pools of investors, and just to make Africa as a continent attractive in the overall sphere of capital, to attract international capital. So I think we have to use the technology to fast-track this integration. And I think that's what we aspire to do as exchanges in Africa. The government, on its part, have set up the sort of an integration program or integration area in Africa, and we need to take advantage of that and plug in and see how we can also be able to complement that effort. So I think on our part, we in this capacity building programs, in our SARE meetings and other forums, continuously discuss issues of common benefit to all the 28 exchanges, and technology and disruption is one of the key things that we look at
All right.
in that association.
Oscar, would you also like to weigh in on that?
I think that, we certainly will be looking to find ways to carry as many of the capital markets in Africa, member exchanges, along as we deploy these emerging technologies. And we must find ways to deploy them in such a way that they add value to domestic economies. We certainly we have certain working groups under ASEA that are looking at disruptive technologies, that are doing research to see what the trends are and how they can be more beneficial to African exchanges. Linkage projects, like Jeff said, is something that we've gone far on already. And individually, exchanges are looking at, introducing specialized areas within the exchange, be it RegTech, be it Innovation Hub, be it the FinTech area, so that we can, it is called a sustaining innovation. We can unleash sustaining innovation versus allowing ourselves to be disrupted.
All right. And Jeff, I'd like to get your closing thoughts. Right now, we're seeing a lot of interest in capital markets by the millennials. The flip side, we're also seeing the threats around cybersecurity. And there's, of course, this talk to go tech, innovate or be disrupted, innovate or perish. I mean, how do you strike a balance and deliver value at the end of the day?
I think the last panel were very candid. Blockchain, for instance, did not just emerge. There's been a lot of white papers and research done around it, and really to really demystify the issue that it's a risky technology. I think if you look at what's going on, not just necessarily in the capital markets, there's disruption everywhere. Today you have the Uber, which has taken over the
taxi business. Oh yes.
Airbnb in the hotel business, and Alibaba with this whole ability for you to buy e-commerce and stuff. So it's something that we have to be very conscious that it's a reality whose time has come. We have to just find ways of maintaining relevance. And as Oscar said, we learned of a new concept today called sustainable innovation, as opposed to disruptive innovation. So we have to really sustain the innovation or continuously make ourselves keep up to speed. They cited how Microsoft has been able to survive two major paradigm shifts.
Yes.
And so we have to really be adaptive to those realities. So I think as exchanges, we must strike a balance between going ahead with innovation, but making sure we secure the infrastructure on a continuous basis. We have to really strengthen our back end of systems. Risk management should be at the forefront of our business thoughts, so that we can proactively monitor risk across all aspects of our business. So risk is not only introduced by technology. There are so many other aspects which can bring in risk. Cybersecurity is a live issue, I do agree, but it's a whole framework about having a very strong risk management framework that will protect our businesses. But we must continuously innovate, or else they say that if you're either disrupted or you're not, or you're dead, isn't it?
You're dead.
Yeah, so it's a choice of two. Which ones would you like to take? So we'd rather take what we can control than what we can't.
All right. Oscar, your closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts. It's a brave new world. The world continues to be dynamic, and we must continue to evolve and evolve in a way that we remain relevant, that we remain major contributors to our various economies.
All right.
So at the end of the day, it's not about technology, it's actually about people. And it's about us keeping up and making use of that technology to better the state of humankind.
All right. Yeah. Well, many thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I've been speaking there to the men that actually in the cockpit of the exchanges in Africa, trying to make a difference when it comes to adaptive technology and, of course, delivering value at the end of the day for consumers. Well, that brings us to an end for that particular conversation, but let's take a look at market